Howdy everyone, and welcome to the Serial Geek TV YouTube channel. My name is James Eatock, and today I present to you 50 things about Slimer. So without any further ado, let us begin. In the original promo for the animated series, Slimer, although then not known as Slimer, was depicted as one of the main antagonists, referencing his rather prominent appearance in the original movie. Also, interestingly, due to the promo being crafted in a very short space of time by numerous artists, Slimer sports two designs. Slimer's appearance as developed for the series was far more detailed and a lot more menacing. When it was decided that he would be a sidekick of sorts to the Ghostbusters, his design was made a great deal more appealing. According to the cartoon, Ray Stantz is the one to give him the moniker of Slimer, primarily stemming from the time he slimed Peter Venkman upon first meeting him.
We need to give you a name. Just to annoy Peter, what say we call you Slimer?
The very popular Ghostbusters High C Ecto Cooler drink was pretty much branded with Slimer in mind. Not only did the Little Green Ghost feature on most packaging designs, but the colour of the drink was bright green. Slimer has the rather odd honour of being the very first ghost that the Ghostbusters caught using their previously untested equipment. The Slimer-centric episode Slimer Come Home was the very first episode of the Real Ghostbusters televised in the UK on children's ITV. As you may have heard on my episode commentary for Night Game, I recorded Slimer Come Home as it aired, but when I went back to watch the episode shortly after, I was very much saddened to learn that I'd recorded droids on children's BBC instead. Oh. One of the most memorable pieces of promotional artwork for the Real Ghostbusters featured one of the earliest takes on the characters and, as such, had Slimer as the enemy. Slimer once nearly killed Peter Venkman by dressing up as a Ghostbuster and accidentally firing the proton gun directly at his head. When trespassing in a Hollywood backlot, Slimer mistakes a poster of the Ghostbusters as the Ghostbusters themselves, though this scene did highlight one particular fact: someone in production can't spell Ghostbusters. In one rather bizarre scene in the episode Egon on the Rampage, we see Janine taking Slimer out for a walk, like a dog. Rather awesomely, in the episode Janine Melnick's Ghostbuster, the little green ghost enters the containment unit, leading to some wonderfully hilarious visuals of Slimer in sheer panic mode. The wonderful behind-the-scenes documentary that looked at the production of the Real Ghostbusters was titled Slimer Won't Do That. Although we may wince at Slimer being given top billing, it actually made sense within the context of the documentary, which itself revealed what could and could not be done with Slimer on a network cartoon. In a rather terrifying scene, Slimer disguises himself as Peter Venkman and plants a rather grotesque kiss upon the glorious face of the fantabulous Lynn Stacy. Understandably, she is not amused. In another moment of body swap horror, in the episode Slimer Is That You?, the Green Ghost trades bodies with Egon Spengler, leading to some rather awful moments for Egon as he witnesses Slimer inhabiting his physical form and making some rather poor choices with regards to sustenance. In the episode They Call Me Mr. Slimer, the Green Ghost becomes a bodyguard. The same episode also showcases Slimer's ability to change his appearance to a rather terrifying one. Slimer does not make as many appearances in the syndicated batch of episodes. This is because the writers were encouraged to use him sparingly. The network episodes, which were at times targeted towards a younger audience, included him, on average, a great deal more. Frank Welker, the voice of Slimer, clearly enjoyed performing the role. And speaking of which, we kind of hear a little bit of Slimer's voice in Uni from the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
You risked your life to save us.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Wow, I must be nuts.
In the episode Ghost Fight at the OK Corral, Slimer saves Peter's life without the Ghostbuster ever knowing. Slimer had the ability to speak to the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and kind of act like his agent, guiding him into action or into the commercial industry. Slimer is designated, as seen in the movie, as a focused, non-terminal repeating phantasm, also known as a Class 5 full roaming vapour. In the Real Ghostbusters comic published by Marvel UK, it was stated that Slimer was once a gluttonous king named King Remils. He bore more than a passing resemblance to his spiritual form. Remils, Slimer, yeah, we can see what they did there. Slimer was not above vengeance, even when Peter was rightly scolding him for being a nuisance.
Come on, it'll be fine.
What have you done to my bed?
As we see in the episode Citizen Ghost, after the events of the movie, Slimer actually returned to the firehouse and, in time, became friends with his former foes. In order to attend a New York Jaguars baseball game with Winston Zeddemore, Slimer dons a disguise of sorts, though given Slimer levitates a few feet off the ground, I'm not entirely sure what people would have seen prior to his sitting down. It could be argued that for all of his flaws, Slimer actually has rather good awareness, as he's the first occupant of the firehouse to notice the visual change that Janine Melnitz has gone through. In the episode Poultrygeist, it is revealed that Slimer listens to soul music. Methinks this may be a joke, soul music, rather than an actual fact, but Alongside numerous other cartoon stars of the 1980s, Slimer appears in the made-for-TV special Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue, warning against the danger of drug usage. Slimer may have a rather unique ancestor in an alternate reality, as we see Slimer's visage upon the Mona Lisa in the episode The Brooklyn Triangle. Slimer proved to be so immensely popular with the audience, well, at least with the audience that the Q5 consultancy firm were infamously analysing, that Slimer was repositioned, in essence, as the lead of the show by the third season, with the cartoon actually being officially retitled as Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters. Some, actually many, would argue that this was the beginning of the slow death of the series. I'd argue that occurred a season earlier. Once the Q5 consultancy firm had made their recommendations, one of which was Slimer becoming a far more prominent character as he proved to be popular with kids, Slimer's design was altered so that he now sported a tail of sorts, thus making him cuter. In addition to Slimer's design change, Frank Welker was now directed to perform Slimer's dialogue so that it was easier to understand. Of course, one could argue that Slimer's ability to speak simply improved due to his presence at the firehouse.
Spookum's gone! Spookum's gone!
Slimer's popularity did lead to him receiving his own series, which I will stress was nowhere near as bad as you would expect, and was actually a fun show. I personally avoided the series until I had the honour of working on the awesome DVD box set for Time Life. Also, speaking to those that worked on the show, it became apparent that they were trying to make a slapstick throwback Tex Avery style cartoon, rather than an actual factual spin-off of the Real Ghostbusters. Oddly, for a ghost, Slimer has hay fever, an allergy he shares with Peter Venkman. In the series Bible for Season 1, it is stated that Winston released Slimer from the containment unit, with the Green Ghost becoming his unofficial pet. It also states that Winston trained Slimer much like a dog. Amusingly, for the much-loved syndicated season, J. Michael Straczynski rewrote the series Bible, stating that Slimer is not a dog, he's a cat, whilst listing cat-like traits. He's sneaky, fun-loving, affectionate, aloof, guilt-invoking, lazy, self-possessed, manipulative, and funny. Yeah, that's a good summary of cats. Slimer sings the lyrics to the Ghostbusters theme song in the episode The Copycat. It was dictated by the Season 2 series Bible that Slimer idolises Peter and considers him his hero. Ugh, how anyone thought these changes were a good idea is beyond me. In the episode Slimer's Curse, Slimer becomes a millionaire, winning $1 million in cash on the lottery. Naturally, with this being a cartoon, there is a catch. Slimer is able to perform an impression of Jack Nicholson. Yep.
Hey, cool, man. I'm Jack Nicholson.
In the episode Room at the Top, we learn that Slimer enjoys reading the comic book Flexo Man, published by Geek. In the solo Slimer cartoon adventures, the Sedgwick Hotel was, of course, the location in which we first meet Slimer in the original movie. And speaking of the original movie, prior to him being known as Slimer, a name created for the cartoon, he was simply known as Onionhead. Fun bonus fact, this Ghostbusters themed special edition of Starburst, published by Marvel UK, was where I first saw that name. I was obsessed with the movie, even before I went to see it at the cinema. In the episode Big Trouble with Little Slimer, Walter Peck from the movie returns, intent on capturing Slimer, and he actually achieves his goal.
I warn you, Ghostbusters, cooperate on this or I'll close you down permanently.
In his own cartoon, Slimer had two erstwhile foes, Manx the Cat and Professor Dweeb, the latter of whom would actually cross over into the Real Ghostbusters cartoon on occasion. When Slimer is separated into many, many little Slimers in the memorable episode Adventures in Slime and Space, upon reforming, he turns into a giant evil Slimer who is purple and decides to emulate King Kong. In the episode Pigeon Cooped, we learn that The Lone Stranger is one of Slimer's favourite TV shows. Professor Dweeb actually disguises himself as Slimer, which could be argued is one of the best disguises ever. Slimer was given his own spin-off comic in the UK by Marvel. Interestingly, the presentation and style of the comic took much, actually all, inspiration from the long-time popular comics The Beano and The Dandy. The comic featured Slimer alongside a bunch of new characters, primarily in their own comic strips. And finally, Slimer has gone on to be included in every new iteration of Ghostbusters, proving that the character is just as popular as the Ghostbusters themselves. That doesn't mean Q5 were right. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe.